The fight against the new highway. This is supposed to be sometime around the 1950s, but some things may not be historically accurate and I am still getting better at writing. I did my very best though, and hope you enjoy, The Fight Against the New Highway. It was a dark, dreary day and a bitter cold wind blew with swirling gusts. A fog rolled in from the east, settling over the subdued city of Eng-Viet. There was an eerie silence over the city. Although the city didn't usually get such harsh weather, the silence was normal, it had been for a long time. Jasmine started apathetically out the window, fogging the glass. A chill ran down her spine, with the early morning cold. She liked the quietness of the city. Nothing much happened, but that was the way she liked it. Jasmine, get your face away from that widow, Jasmine's mother, Grace, said coming into the room. Jasmine whipped around, startled. I need you to run an errand for me, Grace said. What is it? Jasmine said in a soft voice. I only have a small amount of flour left and I need more. Could you please go get some for me? Grace asked, handing her some money. Saying nothing, Jasmine took the money and went and got on her gray overcoat. She also got some thick socks and boots, and a colorful shawl to keep her warm. As Jasmine went through the door, Grace called behind her, please be home before 10 o'clock. When Jasmine took a step outside, she saw that it had begun to snow. The light snowflakes fluttered to the ground, making a thin white sheet on the ground. Jasmine shivered and pulled the shawl tighter around her. She realized that she had forgotten her gloves, and her fingers were beginning to numb as she made her way to town. When she arrived at the store, she heard shouting and commotion coming from downtown. The town wasn't as quiet as Jasmine thought. Forgetting the flour for a moment, she headed toward the noise. When the source of the noise was in sight, Jasmine wasn't sure what it was. It seemed to be a protest of some sort. Shouting people were densely gathered around a podium in front of City Hall. Some people seemed angry. People were crying out things like, we don't need civilization and new technology to come through our city. And others saying, our city needs to advance. We can't stay like this. Other towns will be getting more sophisticated. Someone approached the platform and leaned into the microphone, preparing to make a statement. Our town is just fine the way it is. We don't need advancement, not in this way. While some advancement is good, some can also be bad. A highway is too noisy. We do not need the roar of automobiles roaring through our city. Vote no on building a new highway. Some of the crowd cheered. A new highway, thought Jasmine. Another person stepped up to the podium to make a statement, our town is a fine one. We are thriving well, yet there are other towns that are pulling ahead with advancement. We won't let this happen. We must not be left in the dust. The crowd cheered, while others booed. We need to move on. We need to take action. We need to change. Vote yes for building a new highway through our city. There was a map displayed, showing what section the highway would be running through. That's right by our house. Jasmine realized, panicked. She liked Eng-Viet the way it was. She didn't want it to change. Jasmine had gotten lost in time, as the clock gonged 10 o'clock and suddenly, Jasmine remembered about the flour and rushed to get it, then hurried home. Almost running, Jasmine burst through the door, her cheeks flushed. Jasmine, where have you been? Exclaimed Grace. I thought I asked you to be back by 10. You did, but I got sidetracked, Jasmine answered, panting. There is something going on at City Hall. Whatever could distract you at City Hall? Grace wondered. People are protesting about putting a new highway through Eng-Viet, and they want to put it right by our house. Jasmine exclaimed. Whatever for? Asked Grace, bewildered. I don't know. Some people thought that we needed advancement and other people wanted to keep the town like normal. Replied Jasmine. Well, I won't have it. Said Grace, now in an uproar. Jasmine agreed with Grace. She didn't want a noisy highway running through the town. I'm going tomorrow to go to City Hall and fight this myself. Grace said. Jasmine's stomach growled, and she remembered she forgot breakfast. She got a small snack and the day went on, not much happening. The next day, when Jasmine woke up, sunlight was streaming through the window, but it was freezing cold outside, with a few inches of snow on the ground. Despite the cold weather, though, Grace was determined to go to City Hall. She was very upset about everything. Jasmine begged Grace to let her come with her, but Grace said that she would just get in the way. Jasmine continued to beg Grace, until she gave in and let her come along.
The good doctor. Life hasn't been easy for Mrs. Rebecca Robinson and her son, Alexander, ever since she lost her husband to the cold hands of death. It's been over a year now, and Alexander had to quit vet school in his 5th year, because his mom wasn't able to raise the fees. Alexander is an odd 23-year-old. He already has pinches of gray hairs with his natural black curled hair on his head. He is more fond of animals than humans, and that explains why he lacks many friends. The only friends he has, he says, are exceptional, and that could be a reason to love or hate him. He is at the backyard with Juno, his pet cat, when his mom calls, "Alex, come in. You have a message." He could hear the excitement in her voice. It must be a wonderful news. Well, he hopes it is. Here, read it, there's a letter. You know I can't read without my glasses. Alexander takes the letter from her hands. Mom, it's from a Dr. Jeremiah August. Do you know him? She taps her head continuously. Yes. He's your dad's maternal cousin. No one ever hears from him, and he doesn't live anywhere close. What does the letter say? Alexander reads, "Dear Alex, how are you and your mom doing? My name is Dr. Jeremiah August. I am so sorry I could not attend your dad's funeral and hadn't contacted earlier. I was not in the country and I wasn't informed early about his death. He was not only my cousin but a good friend. I hear you are studying to be a veterinarian. I am willing to help you realize your dreams and more, but firstly, you must meet me at my home in Oregon County. I do hope you come. I will have someone pick you up from the bus station, so call me when you get there. This is my contact number, 555-576-2124. You must have seen the money in the envelope. It's for the journey. Some of the money is for your mom. I hope to send more in due time, or preferably give it to you by hand. I will be expecting you before the end of the week. Yours sincerely, Jeremiah." Mrs. Rebecca pulls out the money from the envelope. She hands the money to Alexander. Count it. He lubricates his fingers with saliva and starts to flip the notes till he get to the final one. He is noticeably happy as a wide grin appears on his face. "Mom, it's $2,000, she smiles and collects the money. "I would be going to the market. We are eating something different and delicious tonight. I will cook your favorite. It's been a long time." Alexander hugs his mom. "But about his offer, will you go, if it's going to help me further my education and career?" "I have to. For the both of us." "What do you think?" "I think you should," she says satisfyingly. "Tomorrow should be fine, and you don't need to worry about me. I will be busy restocking the house and shopping for clothes and doing other womanly things, now that there's money." She laughs. "I should be going to the market." "Take care of the house." Alexander, filled with joy, starts arranging the house. After that, he heads to his room, picks up his phone, lies on his bed and begins researching on Oregon County. Oregon County is about 800 miles from his town, Berkeley, and it would take about 14 hours to get there by bus. "I have to prepare myself for such a long journey," he thinks to himself. After a lot of cheerful thoughts, he falls asleep. Alexander wakes up to the mouth-watering aroma of fried chicken, coming from the kitchen. He looks outside the windows. The sky is dark. A lot of time has passed while he was asleep. He puts on his phone. It's 7:34 p.m. "Mom," he calls loudly, "I'm in the kitchen." She answers. Alexander walks to the kitchen. "When did you get back?" "About 2 hours ago." "You were sleeping, so I decided to start cooking the meal. I think it woke me. I am already salivating, I can almost taste it." They both laugh. "No need for your gut to grumble. The food is almost ready. Just help me set the table." Alexander sets the table and goes to find Juno. The black chartreux is caught laying under Alexander's bed with its hind legs out, allowing Alexander to easily grab him and take him to the dining for his dinner. Alexander returns to the dining to find food already served: boiled rice with tomato sauce and fried chicken garnished with roast fish cuts and cabbage. Fresh orange juice in a transparent glass jar is placed on the table. His favorite has truly been served. He places Juno by his bowl having fish cuts in it, then sits with his mom, prays, and begins digging into his meal. Dinner time is over. Alexander carries the plates to the sink and washes them. His mom had already gone to bed. He switches off the unused lights and retires to his bed. Tomorrow is going to be a long day and he will be leaving as early as 6 a.m. to catch the early morning bus for the long journey. Alexander wakes up to his alarm, which is set to 4:30 a.m. This morning, he isn't as weak as he normally is on every other morning. It must be the excitement of traveling to a place.